Mimkyu's love. Let me just say this. I love Mimkyu. It's without a doubt my favorite ghost-type Pokemon ever. Its design, its concept, its personality, everything is wonderful. And it's clear the Game Freak knows this. The idea of this poor, pitiful little creature, whose terrifying appearance prevents it from having friends or being loved, so it dresses like Pikachu to get the affection it so desperately seeks, made my heart melt the minute I first heard about it. So it only follows that I caught the first one I could when I played through Pokemon Moon. She was a sweet little thing too. It was a joy to pet and play with her in Pokemon Refresh. She needed a home, and I gave her one. Then I had the thought that since Mimkyu envies Pikachu because it wants to be loved like it, maybe it'd be nice to have a Pikachu on my team too. It was silly, yes, but I was one of those people who like to assign personalities and relationships to my Pokemon's team, and I thought of the idea of the two becoming buddies, despite their internal rivalry, would be adorable. So I set out to catch a Pikachu to be my Mimkyu's friend. That's when things got strange. I sourced the first area I saw that Pikachus were present in, and sure enough, I found one and caught it with ease. I smiled, gave it a nickname, and proceeded to try playing with it in Pokemon Refresh. But when I checked my party, the strangest thing occurred. The Pikachu was gone. There was no sign of it in my team. The slot it should have filled was empty. It had seemingly completely vanished. "What the heck?" I said to no one in particular, looking at the empty slot where the Pikachu once was. I wondered why this would have happened. Was it a glitch? Was there something wrong with my game? Would I have to take it in to be repaired? I figured the best way to figure it out is to experiment a little. I tried catching another Pikachu. I caught one and then checked my party. Sure enough, the Pikachu disappeared from my party again. After trying a few more times, I had the confirmation that this was indeed happening. Every Pikachu that I tried to catch just disappeared without a trace. Confusion and frustration hit me in an instant. I could easily live without my team having a Pikachu, of course. I already had electric-type coverage with my Charge-a-Bug. It was just weird that everyone I was catching was vanishing with no apparent reason. It was just weird that everyone I was catching was vanishing for no apparent reason. But then I realized I was only trying this with Pikachus. Could this be that it also appealed to the other Pokemon I caught? If it did, I'd be downright furious. I'd only been playing for 2 weeks now. I didn't want to have to start all of this progress over again. Just to be sure, I commenced experiment number 2 and went to catch a non-Pikachu. I encountered a Pelipper and caught it. I joined my party afterwards. The Pelipper was in my party, right there, plain as day. I deposited the Pelipper into the PC and tried for a Pikachu again shortly after. And once again, the Pikachu vanished. After repeating the second experiment a few times, my suspicions were confirmed. It was only Pikachus who were disappearing. At this point, I was willing to shrug it off. As long as I wasn't being prevented from catching any Pokemon, the lack of a Pikachu was no big deal. I went on to keep playing after a while. The strange glitch was out of my mind. A couple hours later, my character got into a battle with an ace trainer, and Mimkyu managed to sweep the team pretty easily. Quite proud of my special little abomination, I decided to pet and feed her a little in Pokemon Refresh. That's when I remember Mimkyu's backstory. How it envies Pikachu for being so popular, and that's when a very, very shocking thought entered my mind. It couldn't be. Could it? I put the third and final experiment into motion. I headed to the nearest Pokemon Center, deposited Mimkyu, making sure I had 2 empty slots open afterwards, proceeded to catch another Pikachu. Bracing myself, I checked my party. 5 of those slots were filled. Desolai, Charge-a-Bug, Lycanroc, Toucannon, and Pikachu. I stared at the slot that would be occupied by my Mimikyu. I headed to the nearest Pokemon Center and retrieved Mimikyu from the PC. I took a deep breath and checked my party. What I saw, to be honest, didn't really scare me, but it did leave me feeling a bit uneasy. Especially with the realization that the answer to my question was right in front of me, and I somehow didn't notice the whole time. Out of all the 6 slots, only 5 were filled, and Mimikyu was in the slot occupied by the now missing Pikachu. And that, my spoopy little puppers, was Mimikyu's love. My final thoughts on the story? I loved it! Again, it's one of the rarities where you don't see too many of these creepypastas involving a certain Pokemon, like with Gourgeist, Litwick, Darkrai, Lucario. I keep saying that a whole lot in my reviews upon these stories, but I absolutely like it. I mean, just pulling a Pokedex entry and putting it into a creepypasta story is very creative and very awesome in my personal opinion. And again, this is basically the truth. Mimikyu is extremely jealous of Pikachu because it's so popular, so loved, and it doesn't get any love because of its appearance, which obviously nobody knows about. I mean, hell, for all we know, it could be Porygon because it doesn't get any love, and it was never shown in the anime ever again, except in a few minor appearances. But that aside, this creepypasta is absolutely awesome. Now, it's not really an all-time classic like Strangled Red, Pokemon Creepy Black, or anything like that, but it does have the feeling that it should be in one of the classic Pokemon creepypastas. And I think anything that I would have to say negative about it would honestly be nitpicks. I absolutely love this story, and Mimikyu is definitely one of my favorite Pokemon, aside from Lucario. Come on, you gotta give Mimikyu some love, man! So, as you would expect, I give this story a perfect 10 out of 10. To me, there's not really too many cliches, which it tries to steer away from, and it's honestly pretty good. I absolutely love this one. It is amazing, but regardless, this story is a wonderful read, and it makes me think of those creepypasta games like with Strangled Red, Lost Silver, and Creepy Black. All those creepypastas are timeless classics, and I love it. I absolutely love it. I hope you puppies enjoyed this spoopy little creepypasta, and I will see you next time. Stay awesome, stay strong, and stay beautiful, my little puppers. And sweet dreams.